Mell B. I just
Mel
realized
B.
I've never made that connection before. That's hilarious. How are you, my dearest fellow empath?
I am very well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, what's new? Are you still living your best life? Where are you at? What's going on in your world?
Well, thank you for asking.
Always.
I have had so many things go on in the last little while. I know, right? I have pulled myself completely off socials. Actually, that's not entirely true. I've taken my socials off my phone. So no Facebook, no Instagram, no LinkedIn, no emails, which is like, the time I have saved myself every day by not having those. I don't look at your eyes. The time
That
I've saved
sounds
myself.
so clever.
I know, but so simple. I've just
How hard
deleted.
was it?
The deleting part was easy. The
Yeah.
decision was quite troubling, but the deleting part was easy. Um, I I haven't actually missed any of it.
So you not got any fear missing out of messages or important.
Well, it's still on my computer. I can come home and choose or not to go onto my computer, and I can either check my emails, business, Rotary, or whatever else, uh, or I can choose not to. I can choose to go onto Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or not. It actually becomes a choice. And it has absolutely liberated me. And I'm so thrilled that I did it. Best decision ever.
Wow.
I know.
I think you're giving many listening palpitations and like,
I know. It's like, oh
how
my
the
God, oh my God.
actual do you do that? But anyway, that aside, so what has it enabled you? Like we're both intuitives. What's shifted, changed?
You know, that's a big question. And what shifted for me was I wasn't actually happy. I feel like I was addicted to my phone. Every time I would walk past my phone, I'd tap the screen, tap the screen, tap. Oh, nobody loves me. There's no messages. There's no this, there's no that. Even though I had turned off all of my notifications for everything, I still went in there and go, oh, there's nothing there.
That dopamine hit. We
Yes,
get these micro hits of hormonal response. I got a message. People don't realize that's what they're addicted to.
100%. And
Okay.
I felt validated every time I went on there and go, somebody wants to talk to me. I'm going, yes. And then
Except
when
usually
somebody doesn't,
means work. I'm like, no messages. I don't want notifications. It means I've got to do something.
yes, unless they're notifications of things that you don't necessarily need to deal with.
Exactly.
And then you deal with them. Like
Mm.
if it's for genuine work, it's like, yes, winning. But if it's just for something that's another distraction, which most of them are,
Mm.
most of the time, I was wasting hours every single day on my phone. So this is what I did. I deleted it all off my phone. I now choose when I go onto my computer and take my messages, take my emails, do whatever I need to do. And you know what? I am happy. Ah,
So what did you mean before? Sorry, I distracted you. You said you weren't happy before. Is that what you said? Or you weren't really? What was the word you used?
I'm not sure.
It was something like I wasn't really happy. I think that's what you said.
I quite possibly. And I have been going down the path of a disquiet, perhaps, for some period of time. And I'm going to say probably months, if not 12 months,
Really?
of this gradual decline of disquiet, just in and around me.
Okay.
And so I thought by removing myself from distractions, maybe I'll be able to focus a little bit more on the internal side of me and figure out what's going on. And
Yeah.
I'm gradually finding joy.
Ooh.
I have had an epiphany, which is that I have been living my life based on what everybody else thought I should be, could be, want to be, may be able to work at and make a living at and do.
What do you mean by that? Like that can mean a bunch of different things.
It can mean, and it does mean a bunch of different things. We're both part of the Professional Speakers Association, and I've changed my topic like 5 times. And whilst I've not settled on, that's the wrong word, whilst I am very proficient in talking about resilience and so forth, people don't wake up in the morning and go, I need to be more resilient today. I'm going to look up, resilience, and what does that look like? People wake up and go, oh God, I'm doing this again. I'm doing this Groundhog Day thing. How can I get past this? And that's when you start asking yourself those really big questions, right? Like, am I happy? Is what I am doing bringing me joy? Do I enjoy the company of the people that I keep around me? When I wake up in the morning, can I see myself doing this every day for the rest of my life? Big questions. Because when you get the answers to those questions, and the answer might be no, you then have a choice. You either keep doing Groundhog Day or you make changes. And those changes can be huge and definitely life-changing. And that's what I've done a number of times through my life, and it's what I'm doing again now.
So what do you mean when you said, or give us an example of living your life by, it was something like other people's dreams or something like that? Or either how did you realize that, or what is it that you are doing that is that?
Okay. Stick at the job that you've got, love. It's a good income. It puts money in the bank regularly, and you might not like it now, but it's consistent money, and you can do something on the side while you're doing that. And by the end of the week, you're so exhausted from doing something that you really don't want to be doing anymore that there's nothing left to pursue that thing that you really want to do.
Oh, yeah, that sucks your soul.
100%. And then when you think you've found the topic that you want to talk about, or the thing that you want to actually do, then people start to go, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And then you start to doubt yourself or question yourself, and you go, oh, well, maybe there's more money in doing it that way. Maybe there's more, maybe more people would find me accessible if I did it that way. Instead of just going, no, bugger off. I am focused on the topic of my dreams, and the topic of my dreams is actually color. Every job I've ever had, every time I work with color, every time I color in a picture, every time I draw a picture, every time I do anything with color, I am happy. Okay. I am happy. So do people wake up in the morning and go, the ceiling needs painting, dear? Some do, but only in a funny, naughty, perhaps context. But they will still wake up with that Groundhog Day thing, but perhaps a splash of colour is what can enliven them to wake up and look around their room and go, oh, I actually feel joyous being in this pink bedroom or this blue bedroom or this, whatever colour bedroom it is, and get a little bit of joy as soon as they open their eyes seeing a beautiful colour that they love.
Right.
But it's not just colour in paint, it's colour in everything. It's colour in what we wear, it's colour in how we wear it, it's colour in, the business colours that you choose. There's the colour of or the psychology of colour, not the colour of psychology. It could be both ways, but the psychology of colour also gives good grounding to how and why we choose certain colours for certain things.
Yeah, you're
And
preaching to converted here. I'm definitely all about the
yeah. So I've
understanding
been,
what I mean. Can I ask like a slightly different question? So if we tap into our intuitive guidance, and it sounds like this has been nudging at you and you've made some changes and discoveries and realizations and shifts. So you've landed on this, I guess, this passion, this deep calling, this part of your identity that has the wisdom about color and how it fits into our lives, blah blah blah, right? So what has shifted? Why are you in more joy now than you were before? Like what what is what's my question? What is the difference that's come about as a tangible shift? I guess is that yes, you've stopped some of the social activities, given you more time. But what has that shifted from a being on this planet that is now more connected to the concept of color? What does that mean is different for you as an empath, as an intuitive?
okay. So what I have learned color in every aspect. I did interior design years ago. I've worked with paint companies. I've worked in the paint section at Bunnings. I've worked in fashion. I've actually had my own fashion label a million years ago. Um, I've worked with colored crystals. I've worked with color chakras. So everything I have done with color, I can now bring it all together as a really wholesome set of tools that I can now make a complete program with.
Right.
So it's not just, oh, paint your bedroom this, it'll make you feel good. It'll be, if you use this particular color, this is how it's likely to energize your body, or this is how it's likely to help heal this, or this is how it's likely to, bring joy to that aspect of you and your being and so forth. When you wear certain colors. And of course, I profile people based on skin tone and that sort of thing, which has been done many, many times. But that also becomes a behavioral profiling tool. So because with some of those colors, there is now, and I'm writing the book actually with the lady who invented it, colors are innate to us based on the seasons, and it's not the season of the year, it's based on color tone of skin.
Okay.
So I'm a summer color tone, even though I was born in October, which is technically spring. So it hasn't got anything to do with the time of the year, but it's got everything to do with the color of the skin and the palette of colors that are available to us at that time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's it's all it's really interesting, and I love talking about it. It's probably way too deep to go into right now, but I feel really confident knowing that if somebody says to me, yeah, but color's a bit wishy-washy, Belinda, why don't you talk about,
Marketing.
maths or,
Yeah.
something, talk about trees or talk about whatever, I'll go, yeah, no. I actually feel solid enough in who I am that I can go, yeah, no, I'm not going to be swayed again.
Yeah.
I have reached a point in my life where I'm just going, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know what God has gifted me with. And that is the gift of learning, understanding, and knowing about color enough to be able to explain it to other people in such a way that they can use it for their own benefit and health and well-being.
That's what has changed for you. It's that confidence, it's that assuredness. I call it being unwavered when
Yes.
you're just at peace with everybody else's waves. Like, that's cool. You can have all these opinions.
Mm.
I'm solid with when I talk about being unwavered, it's like you're the rock in the ocean and all the water flows around you, and it's like, it's fine. I'm still a rock. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And okay to be completely surrounded by a different element.
Yes.
I'm still in mine. So
Yes.
that unwavered is really cool. Congratulations on getting there.
Thank you. It's taken a very long time.
Doesn't it kind of be the point of life? It takes you all your life, maybe? Sad but true.
Well, and we're always learning. There's always something, and there's always somebody who has your best interests at heart when they tell you that you could be doing something differently and better than what you're currently doing. And it's like, now I can say thank you, but no. And I have the
Deciding some
confidence.
advice.
Yeah.
It's the next most important thing after being unwavered. It's having that independence to say thank you. Thank you.
No.
You don't even need to say no. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for caring enough and giving a shit enough to express your views.
And knowing that I do or do not have to take it
Um,
on board.
It's going to go in and it's going to go out. And
Yeah,
you don't
straight
even
through.
need to know that. It's almost like, the true grace of coaching and making an impact. And sometimes it can be years after. I know this because this has happened for me. Somebody's crossed my path, and years later, something lands that they were teaching me about, and it took me 4, 10 years, whatever. Like, that's what that thing was about.
Yes.
And my example was, I remember my first entry into the entrepreneurial space was a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, you're speaking from your head, not from your heart.
Yes.
I'd be like, I don't fucking understand what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean when you say that phrase. Okay, I hear you, and I'll just keep listening to it. I'll keep working on this head heart thing. Now I can teach others on it because I've understood it to the point of mastery.
Yes.
But that individual still doesn't know that I've had that level of awareness shifted from them. So
Yes.
the full grace of coaching is we make that impact anyway, and we don't need to know. We don't need the ego boost of the credit.
Isn't it wonderful, the ripple in the pond that we can make? People have come up to me after 10 years and said, Belinda, you said blah, blah, blah to me in a coaching session, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Mm.
And I remembered it because it really had an impact on me. And, my life has changed because of X, Y, Z. And it's like,
Wow.
really? That's awesome. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
And I guess in a way it validates, when you're early on in your coaching, you sort of just have these conversations with people and hope to God that you're making, I was going to say good sense, but that's not what I mean. When you're a life coach, you always hope that you're doing something right and helping somebody grow in a really positive direction. And you're hoping that they are going to understand with love and without judgment the conversation that you're having, and being able to put pieces together, because it's, life is just a big jigsaw puzzle as far as I can see, because there are parts of it that I'm still finding and putting into my little jigsaw.
Mm.
And I think when I first became a coach, I was having these conversations with people, and, I was feeling good about coaching them. They were giving me great feedback and testimonials and all that sort of stuff, as you do when you're a new coach, because, you want to get a testimonial from everybody because that's what you're told to do, right? And sometimes I thought, are they just writing that because they've been told to write a testimonial and they don't want to write a bad one? Or is it actually really true? And it's really, it is gratifying to know that many years later, the things that people said were actually true. And I don't need that validation now, but it's nice to know that at the time I was helpful to them and that their life has shifted because of that. no judgment, no anything else
Yeah.
associated with it. It's just nice to know that way back then I was already making a difference, and now it just continues.
I think those of us, particularly in the coaching space, that being of service and fulfilling purpose, and that purpose is being of service, and that cycle of serving to fulfill,
Yes.
which is of service, and that it's just a beautiful cycle. And like we say, when we get to that point where we don't need that validation anymore, the grace that is created for them and their empowerment, going, that's amazing,
Mm.
awesome, and
Mm.
just let them have it all.
Absolutely.
That is, oh
That brings happiness and that brings joy.
yeah.
I mean, how joyful is it when you coach somebody and they go, oh, now I get it. I
Mm.
see what, I see the stepping stones that got me to here. And now I can see what's going to get me to there.
Yeah, well, as a healer, what I love hearing is when they're like, a week later, I would have responded to this situation in that way last week, and I didn't today, and I've just realized, you're like, yeah,
It's like there's a victory
yeah,
right
like
there.
your life is so much easier. That's cool. Not because of the work we did together, but because their life has genuinely shifted and improved. It's like,
Yes.
fuck yeah, that's cool. I'm so thrilled for you. Those
Yes.
moments are like, yeah, I would have started a fight, or I would have been angry for the rest of the day, or whatever it was. And like,
I
yeah.
know.
So that's cool.
No.
Anyway,
But those moments still happen to you, right? Because they still happen to me.
do you mean for
Like,
me, myself, or for
yes,
clients?
yes, like personally.
Mm.
Like, if you're out and about somewhere and somebody does something that, at one stage would have really bothered you, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. That person's done that silly thing or whatever. And years ago, I would have gone, oh, you bloody idiot, or you dickhead, or you something. And now it's just
Road
like,
rage is a good example of that.
well, yes, it's like, you know what, you do you, sweetheart, you do you.
I in my
Water off a
twenties
duck's back.
I would have been a passive aggressive driver. I wouldn't necessarily there'd be a lot of internal chatter in the car, not necessarily directed at the other drivers. And I do remember having that moment now, looking back, of thinking, I wonder what's going on in their world that they just cut me off.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, you're in a hurry. Oh shit, you're not paying attention. What's going on?
Yeah. And you know what I say as a follow on from that is, I hope you get to wherever you're going safely.
Yeah, like good luck. I hope
Yeah.
it improves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think, I mean, that's a lot of personal development, growth,
Of
optimism, all the
course.
rest of it. But from that awareness of, I used to be a little bit, how dare you cut me off? It used to be a personal affront. To now going, I discovered the word grace about
Ah.
2 years before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
before it became popular, because I had it for as my word of the year for 2 years in a row.
It's a great word. I love
I
grace.
hadn't fully, it took me 2 years to fully integrate it. And it's like, okay, what would grace do? If love were an entity in front of me, how would she respond?
Uh-huh.
How would grace react? And it would not be angry, it would be with compassion, patience,
Empathy.
yeah, empathy. And then learning about being an empath, and I wonder what they're experiencing. Or
Yeah.
having compassion for, are they overloaded as an empath and they don't even know they're an empath? So that's like triple loading. So
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. I'm scratching my foot at the moment. I got bitten by this tiniest little, little midgies.
Uh,
Oh, my body reacted. I've come up in a big welt on my ankle.
yeah, no, they're terrible.
It's the season. They've just come out after all the rain.
You've got some essential oils, haven't you?
I've got stuff, but it's in the other room right now.
So stop scratching.
Yes, Mom.
Do you want to run
Right.
and get it? You like, have you got 2 seconds to run and get it? No?
Fine.
Okay. All right.
So color, that's right. Living
Yes.
other people's dreams. So
Yes.
what are your new dreams? Or what are your dreams that are old that you're now bringing into a new reality?
I know that when I fully integrate all of the color knowledge that I have, I will have a program that is just like, can blow you out of the water. Because so I've got my resilience abilities and I've color coded that.
Right.
So I'm not only color coding it because people who say, oh, I'm colorblind, it won't make sense to me. I'm also making it sensate.
Yeah.
So it will be a way of sensing and feeling and knowing the different parts of resilience abilities. There's a top 10. And whenever you feel like you need to delve into one of those parts of it, you can either bring the color, eat the fruit, wear the thing, whatever it is that you need to dig out of it. So for resilience abilities, the first letter is R, so that stands for relationships. Let's dig into that. So there's 4 different types of there's our relationship with the entire world around us. And in the scheme of things, we are nothing. We are just one little person that may every now and again might throw a little rock in the pond, and it might have a little ripple effect in someone's life. But in the scheme of things, we are just a speck of dust in the universe.
Oh, I disagree with that, but this is your conversation.
And that's okay. You know what? We don't have to agree on everything. It's just
Carry on with
perception.
your 4 relationships.
Yeah. So the first relationship is you compared to everything else.
Yep.
And you are just one person in the scheme of things. Yes, you can make a difference, and that's what we're here to do. So you bring it in a little bit closer. So I'm an Australian. I live in Queensland. So that's like me with everybody in my nation.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's bring it in a bit closer to that. I am me within Brisbane, within the company that I work in. And I know pretty much everybody in the company, and everybody knows me, and I have a working relationship with them, and I'm closer with some than others, and blah blah blah. And then you bring it down into my relationship with family and friends, and they are quite intimate, those relationships. But the most important one of all is the relationship I have with me. Who am I? What do I stand for? What floats my boat? What makes me happy? What brings me joy? What is my God-given gift, and what can I leave in the world? What is my legacy? What is my legacy piece? So when you talk about relationships, it goes from something that is totally enormous, and it gradually comes in and comes in and comes in and comes in until it's about you, and how do you hug yourself, and how do you relate to yourself, and how do you like yourself? How do you understand yourself? And that is one of the key things about being resilient, is you have to know who you are and what you stand for. Because if you don't,
sorry, and then you can use colors to amplify any of those aspects that maybe
well, so
limited.
the color that I associate with R is red. I've had this color patterning since I was a kid. I'll go through that in a minute. So the color I associate with R is red. Red for relationships. Relationships, you can have red roses, you can have red hearts, you can have red underwear, you can have, red, whatever you want to have that's kind of red or whatever. So it doesn't have to be a color. If you can't see color properly, you can, whatever, make it sensate. What sort of food would you associate with relationships? You know, is it chocolate? Is it champagne? Is it whatever else? Doesn't matter. So all of those sorts of things I pack into the package of resilience and making it colourful and sensate. Why is that important? It's important because we have all survived our worst days so far. We're still here. We're already resilient. We may not necessarily recognize it for what it is, though. So when we look at what I've established as the compartments of resilience, then if we're having trouble in a relationship, for example, with ourselves or with somebody else, we can go, okay, what is it? What part of that am I missing right now? And if I add a little bit of red, or if I have a red velvet chocolate cake, if I have a red t-shirt day, if I have, you know, red lipstick, if I have something, if I do something or encourage or bring red into my day to day, is that going to remind me every time I see it, feel it, touch it, eat it, whatever, that, oh, that's right, relationships are important to me. The most important is the relationship I have with myself. Am I going to stand by that water cooler, like you said before about the road rage? You go, that idiot in the traffic this morning, blah, 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 and spew all over the next person who's going to carry that back to their desk and go, oh God, avoid her. She's having a bad day. So, you know, we can bring things back. We can bring things back and we can contain things a little better. I mean, it's important to vent, don't get me wrong. It's important to vent. But once you've vented, you don't want to carry that through the rest of the day with you. You just need to stop and sit and go, okay, what's important to me in this moment right now?
So if we were to look at this as a process, when you were tapping into your own intuition, does intuition have a color?
Yes, it does. It's actually one of the words in resilience that is part of it. Intuition. It's orange.
Okay. Haha. Interesting that. Okay.
Yes.
And
in my color code system. So my color code system is very individualized to me and a color code that I established when I was a kid.
That's fine. So then again, back to that process of you identifying, for example, that you need to get off some social media platforms on your phone and make some changes. So did you eat some oranges and wear an orange shirt to tap into that intuition? Can you like step that out a little bit for, you know, in the last few minutes, we're nearly an hour already, how people can use this in a practical way if they're looking to make any change?
Okay, really interesting. Making practical change. Okay, so in my resilience abilities, the word resilience I've used as an acronym.
Yes.
So each letter has its own thing. So the I is for intuition. The color I've coded with that is orange. So if people are looking for a way of tapping in intuitively to what they need to, want to, must do, thinking with their heart, not with their head, which is a challenge that you had. And it's a challenge that when we start to learn to meditate, we have a lot, because there's a lot of that chatter that goes on and tries to distract you from really tapping into your heart space. A really great way of doing it is watching the sunrise, watching the sunset. Beautiful colors at that time of the day. Really good for your internal hormones and everything to watch a sunrise.
I'm not doing
really, really good for your internal.
Sunsets I'm in for.
Yeah, sunrises are at the other end of the day, but you know, very, very, very good for lots of things. Anyway, you asked me about food and stuff like that. How did I get around to it? I love color, full stop. Orange is a really powerful color. It's not a color that everybody can wear, but it is a color that everybody can tap into. So whether you look at orange as a color, whether you have an orange scarf, whether you have orange flowers, whether you know whether you just have an orange felt tip pen and decide that for the day you're going to write with an orange felt tip. I do not have a blue biro.
Hmm.
I have colors of everything, but I do not have a blue or a black pen. Bar, I just don't. So that, yeah, there's a heap of different ways you can, but to be really in tune with what is right for you at any given time. It's that lesson that you found out the hard way, and we all find out the hard way, is to stop thinking, start feeling. And when you feel an answer is right, then it's right. And they said that that's your second brain, right, is in your heart, but there's a third brain in your gut. So when I was going through my processes, as I have over the last few months, I've found that every decision where my head and my heart and my gut have been in alignment, it's right.
And
Every
can you
single time.
can you speed up that alignment using color?
Yes, I believe you can.
Okay.
I believe you can. I've worked with it for a long time. I would like to know whether others have the same capability, and I would love to be, that's my next step, is to create a process where I can guide some people through those processes using color and using things around color to bring things forward more quickly. The world is changing so rapidly. We need to get those decisions happening. We need to make life changes easier and the transitions with grace, so that we can move forward with ease and grace and joy and peace and, all of those things that we want. But now almost at a warp speed, because things are just happening so quickly, and we need to move with it. Otherwise, we're somehow or another, part of us is going to be left behind. And I don't want to leave anybody behind. It's a bit like that, leave no man behind. I don't want to leave anybody behind. And some people who start out on a spiritual journey, whether it's spiritual, empath, spiritual, crystal healing, whatever it might happen to be, they feel alone for a while because it's not the norm. So like, I started my journey 25 years ago, and I was a freak back then. People thought that I had, horns and a bloody tail, because I was not normal. The things that I was doing and talking about with people were just not normal parts of conversation. So I've been ostracized and criticized and all sorts of things for many, many years. But now I've come into my own, and it's much more widely accepted now than it was way back then, I can promise you. And to be able to go back, to go forward, which is where we started this conversation, color has always been my thing. Way back then, I knew that color had a way. Color healing has been a thing forever. There's the colors of the chakras. There's the colors of, crystals. There's the colors of, the sun and the gods and the moon and the thing and the blah and the everything. Everything has a color associated with it. So it's not hocus pocus weird shit. It's just a gift that I've been given, is to be able to work with color and to be able to guide other people through the processes so that they can transition and do things more quickly and more rapidly. That is what floats my boat.
What a beautiful note to finish on. I love that.
Thank you.
That power statement for yourself. This is who I am. This is what I do. And this is why I do it.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you for your time.
Thank
I hope
you.
people found this useful. And wherever you're at, I hope you are not living your life by someone else's dreams or expectations. That you are tapping into your intuition. If you don't know how to listen to your heart, and your head's doing all the talking, you're like me, you don't even know what that means. There are hundreds of thousands of people now that are living this life as a mainstream normality.
Yeah.
Like you said, the weird and the woo-woo that was made to be wrong back in the 60s because they didn't want us to be empowered. They didn't want us to have that freedom of thought and choice. It's all behind us now.
Thank goodness.
Exciting times. Until we see you next. Bye for now.
Bye.